Most of us grew up learning the social life standards that achieving would not only signify having made it, being good enough, but also being happy, or at least satisfied. Sure, my life is good, I've ticked all the boxes, so it must be. And I guess I feel, well, normal. Hi there, I'm Anne-Katrin, and I'm occasionally awake. I'm here to help you inspire your awakenings, heal yourself, and reawaken your life. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the dark side, the opposite side of awakening experiences. This channel is about awakenings, about the wonderful feelings of love and truth and bliss and clarity and peace that we experience in the moments of waking up to reality. It's also about the process of integrating these magical experiences into our everyday lives, using their transformative potential to enhance our personal growth. However, this channel is about more than the light side. This is not the place for spiritual bypassing. Being occasionally awake includes being occasionally asleep as well. Caught up in the interpretive reality we're focused on. Blind to the truth. Sometimes even blind to joy, to optimism, to inspiration. And in the very worst moments of darkness, spiritually blacking out. There are two levels of spiritual absence, we could call it, that are at the other experiential end of the blissful awakening experience. The first and less fatal state is what I like to refer to as spiritual sleepiness. This is the state most of us start off in before our very first awakening experience. Spiritual sleepiness thrives in the unquestioned status quo, in that state of normal that we never even thought to question in the first place. This is the state where we don't know what we don't know. And that's tricky because we think we know it all. We don't. Here are some things people might say from a place of spiritual sleepiness, thinking they know it all, while having no freaking clue. Me? Oh no, I'm not a people pleaser, no. Of course I know what I want. No thank you, woo stuff is not for me. I only believe in the objectivity of science. Of course I am already connected to my heart, aren't we all? My childhood, it was perfect and carefree. Well, obviously I do feel all the feels, they're all right here. I'm not following the normative drum of society. These are all my goals and desires, for real. To many of us, that is or was a conditioned misconception to some degree. Most of us grew up learning the social life standards that achieving would not only signify having made it, being good enough, but also being happy, or at least satisfied. Sure, my life is good, I've ticked all the boxes, so it must be. And I guess I feel, well, normal. An awakening is the moment that prompts us to question that state of normal. It is an invitation to look beyond what we thought to be normal before. There are different types of awakenings. An awakening to the ego self, for example, might teach us that we are surprised a people pleaser after all, and we might have never even dared to ask ourselves the question, but what do I want out of this life? What is my priority? An awakening to the matrix might make us realize that there is no such thing as objectivity, or that the purpose of life might not be having a family, children, and a white picket fence around the house for every single person. An awakening to the conscious self might inspire us to listen for that quiet whisper inside, for our intuition, to question and redirect our purpose, or to experience the positive effects of energy work or meditation on our system. And last but not least, an awakening to now experience makes us feel our own presence in the oneness and unity that is. It's the knowing that we are the drops in the ocean, and that the ocean is fully contained in every single drop. I'm so glad you're here right now, so if you enjoyed this, please make sure to like and subscribe to become occasionally awake with me. Any awakening might shake our previously unquestioned experience of normal to the core. Once we've experienced and integrated that first awakening, once we realize that it's all subjective perception and that there's a deeper layer of truth beyond or below, however you want to look at it, we then become more likely to experience the next awakening and the next and the next and so on. We usually never return to that initial level of spiritual sleepiness after our first proper awakening. We couldn't. However, one awakening experience doesn't turn most people into the few forever enlightened people. We could consider spiritual sleepiness as a spectrum, and with every awakening experience that happens, we slowly but gradually move along that spectrum towards a higher level of consciousness, love, and clarity. Another picture I like to use is that of a mosaic. Imagine a gigantic mosaic made of 1,000 tiny little pieces, all in just one color. That's the starting point for many of us, that level of spiritual sleepiness where we've possibly met all the standards of all the norms and of everyone around us, but we haven't met ourselves yet, our heart, our soul, our purpose, our own needs and desires, our own intuition. Now imagine that every single awakening experience colors in one tiny piece of that mosaic in a vibrant color. This picture is also inclusive of the notion that every single awakening experience sheds light and clarity on a certain aspect of our lives, our experience, our perception of reality, while keeping other aspects in the dark. Only awakenings to now experience are all-inclusive in that sense, and they are the rarest of the 4 types to experience. That's why I prefer the approach of being occasionally awake, meaning being open to experiencing many different and diverse awakenings and not waiting for that one or even possibly working towards that one great awakening. I've had countless awakenings to the ego, to the conscious self, to the matrix, and a handful of awakenings to now experience. My favorites. And point is, I'm not done. Nobody is, because we'll never get it done. And we can't get it wrong. To quote Abraham Hicks, lifelong learning is the key word. I don't identify with having had my one spiritual awakening and now I am awakened. No, this is not how it works. From within the state of being awake rather than awakened, there is no such thing as identifying. In fact, being awake is the moment in which we release all identification, where we are without that identification that could derive any meaning from the idea of, oh, I am awake right now, woo. No, that's not how it is. I am occasionally awake. Not right now, but sometimes. I've moved along the scale of spiritual sleepiness over the past years towards a greater level of clarity and consciousness. And I consider that to be more than just good enough. I think this is the big deal in terms of our spiritual journey and personal growth. Never done, yet always evolving. In this sense, by choosing the path of spiritual awakenings, we are automatically choosing the path of gradually waking up from our learned spiritual sleepiness. So if you are open to experiencing spiritual awakenings, you are good to go, and you're definitely going to move up that scale of your current level of spiritual sleepiness. However, there is the darker side of spiritual absence that makes the unawareness of an unfulfilling norm seem like a walk in the park. I call this worst-case scenario, opposite of an awakening experience, the spiritual blackout. A spiritual blackout is a state in which we feel cut off from the umbilical cord of the universe. I love that sentence. I came up with it. I was like, yes, that's it. That's exactly what it feels like. If you've been there, you'll probably understand what I mean by that. A spiritual blackout is when we get lost in our pain and then let our ego turn that inevitable pain into unnecessary suffering. A blackout is that dark because when experiencing it, we are often literally standing furthest from our light, in the middle of our shadow. Spiritual blackouts are often caused by our greatest triggers, no matter if we are consciously aware of them or not. They are such horrific experiences because they are often characterized by a generalization of the negative to a degree that it limits the perception of time and space. This means that the thought narrative that accompanies and intensifies the negative emotions of the blackout often appears all-encompassing. I am feeling bad right now might become, I've always felt this way and it's never going to get better. I'm not currently seeing a way out of the situation I'm in. Might become, this can't be overcome. I'm never going to find a solution to this and nobody can help me. Needless to say, most spiritual blackouts are not ended by a blissful counter-experience of an awakening, but simply by slowly coming back to our senses. What gets us out of a spiritual blackout is putting things back into perspective, taking a step back into the observer position to gradually adjust that fatalistic narrative. There are several concrete small tricks as well as extensive practices that can be used in order to get out of a spiritual blackout, and I'm definitely gonna get into more details about a few of those in another video. This channel is dedicated to the beautiful, messy, creative, imperfect human intersection point of high vibe awakenings on the one hand and low vibe states of spiritual sleepiness to full-blown spiritual blackouts on the other hand. Every human life is an experience of contrast, and we all get to experience the full entire spectrum, feeling all the feels. Ultimately, it all contributes to our journey, especially when we use the spiritual tools at our hands and in our heart to work with and to integrate the low vibes we encounter along the way and let them fuel our personal growth. Got any occasional awakenings? Now I'd like to hear from you, so let me know in the comments below what you take away from today's video and which very first awakening experience got you out of your initial state of spiritual sleepiness. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And if you want more insights on the 4 types of awakenings and how to experience them in your life occasionally, visit me at occasionallyawake.com to inspire your awakenings. Bye.